The Skippisox Skipping Slides 3-channel video installation occupies a 4-meter corner space in a gallery. Sophisticated computer graphics are synchronized with a circa 1960s slide projector, and teleprompter glass overlays the image of virtual characters who give presentations on the topic of skipping. Viewers are drawn into close range by the twin holographic-like displays. Motion detectors sense the viewer's proximity and send a signal to the computer to enable sound and begin. This project addresses the problem of movement, the paradox that capturing movement stops it. Ordinarily, a sequence of slides played back on a film strip recreates movement. Yet with the superabundance of video in our world these days, this ancient mystery is now philosophically taken for granted. This is not so when one confronts this installation, though. Each interval of the montage is announced by the advancing of the slide projector and the sound of a real slide frame dropping into it. By synchronizing a burst of light on screen with this mechanism, a convincing effect is created.
Children naturally do it without ever being taught how. We all intuitively know what skipping is. Scientifically, it's actually
In its passive state, the installation plays a silent loop of two figures moving continuously through the gap space between the glass reflectors and the wall. One figure is walking, the other is skipping. When triggered, sound is enabled and a virtual slide presentation begins. On the kiosks, 3D images of the figures appear. On the right kiosk, Kurt Weber's, set back in the 1960s, gives a slide lecture on the topic of skipping. On the left kiosk, the same character, yet inexplicably moved to the present time period, receives the presentation as an audience member. The viewer is caught in the middle of this time skip, a dual identity occupying two distant points in space-time. Furthermore, the live viewer bears witness to the same presentation on the walls in front of them. The message conveyed concerns moving through time and space, capturing movement in media, and how we perceive meaning in the interval of images in sequence.
to skip ourselves. When you are ready, move to point B to continue.
This is a slideshow about skipping. Skipping is a singularity. Humans skip and machines skip. Skipping intervalizes the pure flow of time. Our experience of life usually does not involve skipping, or so we think. The spatial environment that surrounds us is continuous, and within it, the passing of time appears to be successive. Skipping is discontinuous. Through it, we can intuit the essence of time. Time as lived duration. Your experience of time is not successive. It's true you exist as a point in time and space, just like a rock. But unlike the rock, you coexist at this point with all of your memories. When we see an image, we convert it from matter to memory. The image does not go through our ocular organ straight to the primary visual cortex. Rather, it skips around in the brain in order to form the representation. Perception itself initiates the memory skip. It is unavoidable. Furthermore, each individual has a completely unique way of skipping, both mentally and physically. Just as capturing movement stops it, to understand skipping, we must intuit its process dynamically. We must be willing to skip ourselves. Since ancient times, the problem of movement has confounded philosophers and scientists because it's impossible to understand movement without stopping it. This is accomplished by introducing an interval or grid of some kind. Consider this movement. Let's say you are here at point A, and you move over there to point B. This establishes an interval between A and B. Intuitively, the brain senses that there is one continuous movement. This unity of movement is absolute. But life is not always so predictable. As we observe the body moving through space, suddenly there is a skip, a skip, a skip, a skip, a skip, a skip. To skip something is to take something out. Sometimes we skip a class or skip out of a meeting. When we skip a beat, as the saying goes, we miss something. We're not sure if we completely understand. When we skip a rock, it moves in a general direction.
In 1966, a little-known scholar working at a small college for men in Buffalo, New York, published a concise paper containing a comprehensive theory of movement. He called it skipping, syntactical lubrication for the age of abbreviation. A few years earlier, one of his colleagues, a Jesuit priest, had suggested to him a book for his research, a book that would change his life forever. This book purported to commensurate idealism and materialism, but for him this book bridged the huge interstice within his soul, between his rational obsessions with systems theory and his profound affections of inner faith and the mysteries of ancient religions. This book tick, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick,
This is a slideshow about skipping. Through it, you will see that skipping is an attractor state, that humans, machines, and many other situations in life are drawn to. Skipping is a singularity. It is a special kind of movement that occurs in very few places in nature, but in many areas of the industrialized or electrified world. It is often viewed as something disruptive or a malfunction. For example, when a person skips a planned meeting, this is of course a very undesirable situation.
But what we have failed to see is that skipping is a special kind of movement. It is the default malfunctive rhythm. When something both in human and in machine systems skips, it begins an unpredicted or unanticipated or uncalculated pattern of movement. The first phase of this new pattern is called skipping. The first phase of this new pattern is called skipping. The first phase of this new pattern is called skipping.
When something in both human and machine systems skips, it begins an unpredictable. This first phase of this new pattern is called skipping. When something in both human and machine systems skips, it begins an unpredictable. This first phase of this new pattern is called skipping. When something in both human and machine systems skips, it begins an unpredictable or unanticipated or uncalculatable pattern of movement.
Fantastic! You are done!
exercise. It's embodiment. Children naturally do it without ever being taught how. And although we all intuitively know what skipping is, scientifically, it's actually very difficult to quantify. That's because sometimes skipping occurs when you don't want it to. You might be watching a DVD that starts to skip, and you don't like it. Skipping is the default rhythm of machine malfunction, and yet it is one of the most profound expressions of human exuberance. Exercise routines today have become too quantitative. You follow the steps, count the reps, measure the weights, or distance traversed in space. Skippisox are different. They rhythmify locomotive movement by connecting the foot to the ear. The result is a new and unpredictable E-motion that can only be felt by you.
Because you hear them, you hear yourself walking. That's taps usually work just as well.
It begins by strapping Skippisox on your feet, which are like portable high-tech tap dancing shoes that essentially turn the body itself into a musical instrument.
Good job, good job. How does that make you feel?
Feel good. I haven't worked out like this in a long time.
Although you may not have skipped for a long time, you access that distant childhood memory and recompose it in your body in the present moment. Then, the process of emotion occurs. For most, they feel sort of giddy as they float in the pure flow of duration within the interval of their skips. You see, walking and running are metronomic, like the tick of a clock, whereas skipping is rhythmic. Skipping adds complexity into metronomic intervals. Physically, we do this by introducing stutter steps into a walk cycle. Musically, there is a syncopating of beats, but this is difficult to exactify. You just have to feel it. There is a uniqueness and individuality in the way that only you embody the skip. And here at Skippisox, we can help you find it. There is a uniqueness and individuality in the way that only you embody the skip. And here at Skippisox, we can help you find it. I'm Kurt Weavers. Thank you for listening to me.
You should skip more. You should skip right now. Skip. Can you skip in place? She's skipping in place. She's got it down. She's smiling. She's a grooving. She skipped her own wedding and her friend's wedding.
Skipping out of here.
Do you feel lighter? Do you feel better? Do you just want to smile?
I do.
That's so good. Right now.
Feel lighter. I feel like I could skip all day long.
You feel like you can conquer the universe.
Always.
And you can skip through it, the entire thing.
Better. I feel like a whole skipping woman now. And I hope this spreads to the rest of the world.
Yes, they actually helped Michael Jordan jump so high. Now, when's the last time you skipped?
Can't remember.
Oh, that is tragic. Backwards. Thank you. Thank you. It's nice hair. Just skip on over here. There you go. Now, why do you skip?
Because it makes me feel light.
Big moves, big moves, big moves. So how do you feel right now?
I feel real good. You know, sometimes I do skip in the parking lot to try to make you smile.
Oh, it's true. And now you need Skippisox and he smiles all the time. Look at that.
That's right.
Skippy! Skippy!
Good seeing you.
Nice seeing you, sir. Backwards. You skip on backwards. You're doing great.
Yes, I want to wear these every day because they make me feel I put a bounce in my step.
It's fun to skip.
Yes, it is.
Makes you feel lighter.
It makes me feel high. And
Oh, you're skipping over there. How you feel?
I feel great, man.
I believe in skipping. I think it's great for the body, mind, and soul.
And the soul. So did you have fun today? Are you thinking you're going to skip some more? Or? Skip, Maloo. Absolutely great.
I feel so alive.
That's good. And you know, is that because of Skippisox?
Absolutely.
That's great. Hallelujah.
It doesn't take that much effort, really, and you get there so fast. I mean, you really move fast.
Well, you would love to see our documentary because we will use that cut.
I feel wonderful. I feel energized. I feel happy.
Did you feel this way when you woke up this morning?
Oh, no, not at all. Not till I put on my Skippisox.
After you keep on skipping. Well, you're all giggly today. Is it because of your Skippisox?
I've got Skippisox.